A few years ago, Molly and I produced a podcast called Mollywalks, and it was quite successful. The podcasts aren't around anymore, although I do believe that one of my subscribers told me years ago that they had recorded some of the walks and played them still. And what it was just an audio podcast of us going out on our walks and describing in great detail what we saw, what we smelled, what we felt, what we heard. And it was aimed at anybody, but specifically at people, because I knew a couple of people who lived with sight loss. So that's who it was specifically aimed at, but it seemed to be quite successful with everyone. And basically that's what it was. It's on the tin. It's going out for a walk, but just describing everything, painting a picture, trying to take people out there, make people aware of the sensations of being out in the countryside in like 3 dimensions and not just looking at a screen. So I've decided to do another one, a visual one this time. So this is it's a bit longer than usual. So watch a bit of it, watch it all, watch it in a couple of bites. And it's just me and Molly out in the countryside, but describing what it's like, trying to bring a sensation to everybody. So I hope you like it, and here we go. It's a beautiful morning out here today. We looked at the weather and I thought it was going to be cloudy and blustery, but it isn't. It's mild and the sun's coming through the clouds. There are clouds up there, white and grey, with patches of blue sky showing through, and the breeze is blowing through the leaves in the trees right above our heads. We're walking up a path. Molly's getting under my feet all the time. Walking up a path. The wind is blowing in from our left hand side across an open field with a few trees silhouetted almost against the blue and white of the sky. It's mild. Although there's a breeze, it's mild. I think it augurs well for a nice day. There's a stream to our right, down in a valley, a shallow valley. You may not be able to hear it above the sound of the wind, but it's down there. And that's a lovely spot we sometimes go just to sit in for a quiet 10 minutes. You can probably hear the leaves blowing in the wind, and it smells fresh. That's one thing about it. You get away from the towns, you get away from the houses, you get away from the shops, and it just smells differently. When you're in the towns, it's true about pollution, I suppose. You can smell diesel fumes, petrol fumes in a busy town, but you get up here and it's clear and it's crisp and the sun is shining on the fields and you can see hard lines where the shadows are, and occasionally you can see on the path that it comes through the trees and hits the path and brings everything else into relief. And the leaves around are really green now. We're coming into early summer. We've had lots of rain. We've had a fair amount of sunshine as well, which means everything has greened up. The grass to our left there, you can see it. It's just blowing about in the wind. Everything is blowing in the wind. The sound. There aren't many birds. There would have been about an hour ago, but they're all off now, gone to feed, and then they will come back and we'll hear it all again later on when they come back to roost in these trees over my head. We're fairly high up and it's fairly exposed. That's why there's so much wind. And we're on a path here, and if you look, you might be able to see it. I'll show you if we get up closer. There's like a line of stones that have been put there. That's a line of blocks. And that is to stop the rain rushing down here and eroding the path. The rain comes down, hits these, and then is diverted off into the valley where the stream is. And these are, every 100 metres or so, there's one of these. Otherwise, the rain would just rush down to the car park at the bottom of the hill, and the path would be gone in a year or two. Let me just show you something. Coming out of the shade now, we're coming out of the trees into this beautiful sunlight. Look at it. Again, the clouds above us are moving quite quickly, so there must be a lot of currents high up in the atmosphere. They're moving. The trees to our left are all blowing like mad. There's something magical about the wind. It's still a breeze. Everything different on a different day, everything individual. Never again will you get this combination of sun and breeze. Not exactly. Every day is unique. And then to our left, there's a ha-ha. Now a ha-ha is a barrier to keep animals in a field without spoiling the landscape, without having a wall, so that if you look at it from, say, a little lower down the level of the field, you cannot see it. It just looks like a field. You cannot see the whole. And it's like a shallow dip to one side and then a vertical wall at the other side. And that means that the animals can get down it at this side and come out of it at this side, but they can't get out and over the top of it. So it's a barrier without being a visible barrier. All very clever and used a lot in early Victorian England and before that. The ground rises up to our right, and that's the beginning of the Lancashire moors. It's wild up there, and that goes all the way. It just goes on and on and on until it drops down into Yorkshire at the other side. I can hear Molly to my right. She's rolling about in the grass. She's loving it. She doesn't do bad for a 14-year-old, does she? Not bad at all. She loves this weather. She doesn't like it when it's warm or too hot. And now we've come out from the shade of the trees, the temperature's dropped quite markedly. The wind is blowing. The sound is it's a lot louder up here as the wind blows through these trees, because it's coming right across here. If you can see, just open moorland. And over there, you won't be able to see it, but over there, that's the Lancashire plain. And there's like a hard line in the distance, that's the sea. That's the Irish Sea, and over there is Southport and Blackpool, and all points north towards the Lake District, the Trough of Bowland, Yorkshire. We're on the edge of such beautiful countryside up here. Now the wind has dropped slightly, and there's ferns. And everything, if you get down up close and personal to all this foliage, it all has a scent. Some is stronger than others. We always think of flowers. Molly, what are you chewing? Stop eating rubbish. Molly is eating rubbish, ladies and gentlemen. Everything has a scent. Not just flowers, we always think of the scent of roses, things like that. But everything has a scent. Some of it very faint, but it has. You smell grass. You smell a leaf on a tree. smell the timber of a fence, the stone of a stone wall, the ground that you're walking on, the air that is circulating around you. Everything has a scent. And that's one of the reasons we love the countryside so much. It's the sight and the sounds and the smell. And I like bringing it to you in detail, because you can go into massive detail. I may do some more of these and go into even more detail. Try to paint a picture for the people who can't be out here. Try to bring something into your living room. The sun's come out again as we're beginning to enter the woodland again. It comes in and out of the clouds. 1 minute it's cool and the breeze makes it feel even cooler, and then boom, all of a sudden the sun comes through the clouds and it's warm. It's warm. It's like, should I have put this coat on? Yes I should. No I shouldn't. Yes I should. No I shouldn't. It's that kind of thing. Alternating temperatures, things that we perhaps don't take that much notice of, but we should. The sound of the tree, the breeze through the trees. I don't know whether you'll be able to get it on this recording, but I hope you can. The sight of the leaves on the trees. They're very pale on the underside and dark on the top side, but because the wind is like blowing them inside out, like a dog standing on a corner on a windy day. And the sun is coming in and out of the clouds above. It's gone into the clouds now. But now I can hear birds. All of a sudden, I can hear bird song. It's just in front of me, slightly over to my right. And we're dropping down. And the feeling of the ground under your feet, that's another texture we hardly ever think about. We don't take into consideration the ground you're walking on, the feel of grass, the feel of tarmac, the feel of stone, the feel of this kind of really uneven stone and soil path that I'm walking on now. The moorlands where it's springy under your feet. I don't know whether you can hear the birds. Can you hear that? The birds up in those trees there. So we've got the wind and the birds. We've got the smell. The green is amazing. There is so many different colours, different hues of green. I'd rather have foliage than flowers. I just love the colours of green. Not only have we got the green, but we've got the brown of the trees and the dark green of moss on the trunk of the trees and the brown of the path. This is why they call it earth colours, don't they? I like earth colours rather than bright blues and reds. I like the greens and the browns and the oranges, the earth colours. Not because it kind of reminds me, although it probably subliminally reminds me of the countryside, but just that they are so calming. It's beautiful. It's just such a beautiful day. I've said it before that I think the countryside should be on prescription, because it's just so good for you. It's far better for you than any tablets that aim to take away the feelings of stress and angst of the working day. Stand here with a stream behind me. Can you hear it? The sound of the water. The birds have gone quiet again. The sun is playing through the trees, through the branches. Let me show you. The sun is just playing. Dark greens, light greens, the colour of the sky beyond it. the movement of the branches. And that movement of the branches kind of contrasts with the stillness of the branches lower down where the wind isn't getting through it. The brown and gold of last year's leaves, still here, still not turned to mulch yet and returned all the goodness back into the soil. And you breathe deep and you can smell the countryside. You can smell, there's a field that usually has sheep in. I don't know whether it has today. On my left, we can smell the sheep poo. Oh yes, the sheep is in it. And here we have ferns, and the ferns are just opening up. You can still see some of them, still curled up. And even the ferns have a distinctive smell. And we're out into the sun. Let me just cross the path and show you the ground rising up and a field of sheep. There's lots of lambs. And the ground drops away, and then we can see houses and towns in the distance, but not many. Everybody thinks that Lancashire is packed full of dark satanic mills. It once was really, but not anymore. Now it's small towns just dotted about in a patchwork of beautiful fields, all different colours. And I can see lots, I can hear crows now over to my right. Like I've said, that's always archetypal British sound to me, the sound of distant church bells and distant crows. It's just so English, and I love that. And Molly's in the sun. She loves it. She just loves being out here. Oh, can you hear the birds? Listen to that. And feel the breeze on my face. And the breeze isn't unpleasant. It's cool, but it's not cold. So you've got the breeze and the sound. I can't get over the sound of the wind in the trees. Is so evocative. The occasional bar of a sheep to my left. The sound of the stream to my right. The feeling of the uneven path through my shoes reminds you that you're in the countryside. And that's it. No other sounds. No sounds of traffic. No other voices. Oh, I get it. It's just for a second then it kind of warmed up a bit and I got a real smell. Oh yeah, I don't know whether that's coming off the poo field, sheep field. Oh, I mean, if you could bottle that smell and sell it, you would make a fortune. Can you hear that little lamb there on its own near its mum? Beautiful. The ground's levelled out a little bit now. It's still very uneven and the sun's come out. It's to our backs, rising in the east, so it's warm on the back of my neck and the side of my face. Really, really pleasant. And you can see the ferns and the leaves of the trees above it. And I can hear birds. and the feel of the leaves and the ferns. There are so many sensory experiences to be had in the countryside. The sights, the smells, the sounds and the feelings, all of them. Don't neglect any of them. When you're out and about, open your ears, open your eyes, breathe in. Make sure you don't have your hands in your pockets all the time. Run them through the grass, run them through the leaves. Just brush them against the bark on a tree as you walk past. They all kind of paint a picture. They're all part of the whole. And that picture isn't complete if one of those is missing. So make sure you experience all of them. The sounds, the smells, the sight of what's going on around you. Fields, sheep, cows, trees, woodland, grassland, moorland, beaches. It's all there to be had. And if you miss it, you are missing an opportunity. You're missing an experience. Life is a lot more complete if you make the most of every day, if you make the most of every experience. There's a little bench here, there's a fence with like a little stile. It's a stile to get over, but we sit on that every time we come down here. And it's different every time we come. The grass now is green and lush and deep. We've been coming here in winter when it's bare. We're coming in the height of summer when the grass is brown. It changes all the time. And I like to sit there because this is one of these really mixed deciduous woodlands where there's just birds and squirrels and rabbits. And the occasional deer comes out. And we can sit and watch the sheep in the field in front of us and just sit there. Molly likes to sit there because she's getting old now and she loves to walk, but she also loves to sit. And she will sit. Molly appreciates the countryside, don't you, Molly? She will sit and watch the world go by for hours. And she's happy with that. And she was just about to roll then. And again. She loves rolling in the grass, don't you, Molly? And there you go. She's a happy girl. So I hope you enjoyed this little walk. I'd like to resurrect Mollywalks. It was appreciated at the time, I think, a few years ago when Molly was younger and I was younger. Look at the pine cones here. It's coming out. And I hope it's just nice for anybody to sit with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and a biscuit and share the countryside with us on a dull day or any day or whenever you want. Listen to that, listen to that. And this is why the countryside's so magical. I could stand for hours and listen to these birds. I'm not going to put you through that. You can go and listen to your own birds. And the sun's out again, playing through the trees. Dappled light. We're going to carry on. We shall see you all on the flip. Peace and love.